It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bar, back the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
Ask you something? I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left the light in this bitch.
Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Back the fuck up. Move the fuck.
Joe Fiji. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk. Killed the monkey. Threw the bat out the window. Start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously. Can you?
You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply.
TikTok. TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
Dance with me. Dance with me.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama. And you...
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line.
Where's all that?
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the. Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the.
My word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard.
I think we OD.
It all breaks down to what does this mean to me? What does this event mean to me? How does this event affect my thinking?
Doing the styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense.
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the
Nigga. Yeah. Nigga.
I just be shopping and shit. You know, drinking and shit.
Nigga.
Do a little smoking and shit.
lean and buck, lean, buck, lean. Lean and buck, lean, buck, lean, buck.
Well, welcome to the Big Eagle Hour. I am your host, Big Pontiac. Gonna give you, man, I said we're going swimming this afternoon. It's my brother-in-law's birthday. So we're going to go roughly maybe an hour, a little longer. So whoever can get this, you can get it. And just want to greet everybody. I'm here in Minneapolis on top of Big Eagle's Hill, which is near Big Eagle's Lake. So this is Big Eagle country. He's Lakota chief. And so I give credence to him. I give credence to him. So we, like I always start, I did play pickleball again. I'm starting to feel my knee. I'm swimming, so I ain't going to have to ice it. So, you know, my knee's a little inflamed probably, but not bad. Swimming will take all the energy out of it. Today I really did try to keep tab of my games. I think I played 2 hours. So I think I went 6-4 today, but I played 2 hours. I think I played 2 hours and 10 minutes. I burnt 1,980 calories. Let's see if this gives my variable. Yeah, I got my heart up to 200. Doesn't look like much over 200. Let's see what it say here. Not that. Oh, right here. Oh, still not that. I got in 77,666 steps in 3.5 miles, just playing basically pickleball. Almost all that's pickleball. I did water my lawn. But yeah, end up 6-4. Didn't pickle anybody. Didn't get pickled. Which is, that's kind of cool too. Out of the 6 games, I should have won. There's 2 other games. One game, they beat us 9, 10, 11. We go to 11. They beat us 11. 12-10 or 11-9. They might have beat us 11-9. We should have won that game. Third game could have went either way. But productive, beautiful day up here. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. Yeah, it says my workout was 2 hours and 11 minutes. So beautiful day. I'll say this, what I noticed is, the first day of resting, I come back, I'm sharper. The next days, I'm not quite as sharp, but can't really complain. I think I was a lot sharper yesterday, but still got all my shots and had fun. Despite everything, I still had a good time. I had a good time just playing. So what is the one that does the heart rate? It's not resting heart rate. Not this one. Oh, okay, here it is. Got it up today. 60. Okay, it says in the 3 minutes after your last workout, your heart went down 65 beats. So it looked like it went. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So I got it up to a maximum of 197 while I was working out. 197 while I worked out. And I think it went down from 197. It went down 65 beats. So that put it around 120 something, 130 something. So, yeah. But I hope everybody had a good day so far. I know this is I know it's about 1 o'clock in the West. In the East, it's about 3:30 Central Time. It's about 1:30. So wherever you are, wherever you get a chance to listen, greetings. Now I see Jamar 3224. Thank you for joining me. And I know you definitely got to have vision. And El Dragon, Amaroon Khan, what's happening? And I know you definitely got to have vision. It's funny if you look at life and you look at life as, well, I guess you could look at it, does reality respond to some things with us? Because I think sometimes it does. I think it bends. It bends like I think sometimes it bends. It can bend positively and it can be negative. And I think it bends on the most modest things. Like I know when I play the sacred ball game, when I'm playing pickleball, I see it bend unnaturally. I see it. It's like, okay. And some days it bends unnaturally for me, and then some days it bends unnaturally for others. I've learned to not get emotional of it. Because sometimes it thinks that if the ball doesn't bounce your way, that frustrates you. When in the way I feel, I just enjoy having the experience of the ball bouncing. And so I don't let it bother me. You know, at all times, you know, if people come and see, they'll say, my motion never changes. I quit talking as much, just telling people, good job, good shot. I kind of refrain from that as much because I would do that all day. I'm like, good, you got me. But it was good running. I thought I did something to my calf yesterday, but used the gun and it went away. It feels better. Like today after I ate, because we went to Chili's last night and we had shrimp fajitas. I had all that left. My girl just ate 1 or 2 last night, and plus I had a little bit left from my plate. So that's what I had for lunch. So I weighed myself. I was at 222. 222. And I'm, like I mentioned before, I'm 6 foot. So when I was 250, when I played ball, 250, 260, I was still in shape at that size because I played basketball so much. So you can be a certain size and still be in shape. And, you know, I was still stronger, younger, stronger. But now I'm older. You know, I still don't want to be under 200 pounds. I mean, my weight in the last month maybe has fluctuated between 215. Like if I don't drink beer for a week, I'll lose weight. No doubt. No doubt I'll lose weight. If I quit drinking beer for a month, I would probably automatically lose 5 pounds. Easy. And I could stay. But right now, I kind of go back between 215, 222. And this is really one thing that shows how you're living too. I forgot to put deodorant on. And I know some people, if they don't put deodorant on, you can't be around them. But I notice I eat enough greens. And I think that's the key to just the way you smell. You eat enough greens, you eat enough vegetables. When it comes to if you forget one time, you won't smell terrible. And some people live so foul where, you know, if they don't cover up, you're gonna know it. So, I want to give love to my brother-in-law. That's what we're doing later. It's his birthday today. I want to say, I think my stepmother's birthday is sometime around, she's an August person too. So I want to say her birthday's sometime around, or it's just been recently. I think she's about to turn 72. Yeah, because my father is 80. So yeah, I think she's 72. So she, she's up there too. She's up there too. So if it's her day, I know her day's around my son's birthday because my son's birthday, he turned 34 on the 27th, which I think was 2 days ago. So, that's my oldest. My oldest is 34. So I've said that before. It's a beautiful day here. That's why we're going swimming. I mean, it's right now, it's 81 degrees. So swimming is kind of, if the sun is out, 81's not too bad. It's going to be a little warmer day come this weekend. We're back in the 90s. We're going to have Saturday, Sunday, and the holiday all in the 90s. But today is nice. Today is 82 on Tuesday. And it's, it's a very comfortable day. What's funny is, check this out. Look at this tan mark for my ring. I think they both have it. Tan marks for the rings. Let me see, does this one have? Yeah, I don't wear the ring of that one enough. Let's see. Does that have a tan mark? Yeah, I guess that one has a tan mark too. And it's just these little things that they're just, you notice about yourself. And so it's beautiful sun today. And I don't know, it's funny how my girl had alarms going off every hour. It takes alarm almost every hour to go off. And once I hear, once I'm awoke, I'm awoke. I just wait till my alarm goes off, but I have no reason to lay there because I've been laying there since her alarm's been going off. So I'm just a morning person. I always have been. I like working out in the morning. It's funny, like a month from now, we'll still be working out because I don't think they take all the wind stuff down until October. So a month from now, we'll probably be in sweatpants playing. Same people be in sweatpants and stuff playing. And there probably was some good runs today. Again, I was at 2 hours and my knee was kind of aching, so I left. So, and I haven't really studied any stories today, so I don't know what kind of debauchery I can report on. I don't know what kind of debauchery I can report on because I ain't really been following nothing. So far I don't really know if it's a whole bunch. What is PAW? I wonder what that stands for. PAW. Oh, we're getting a hockey team, a professional women's hockey team. All right. Brooklyn Park considers allowing chickens in the backyard. So we are going to have a hockey team. Minnesota to have one of 6 original teams. League merging with Premier Hockey Federation. Whitecap players could join new league. Oh, so that's what that is. Okay. I don't think most people care about that, and it is still our fair, so it's a lot of the fair talk. like this is okay. This is the lame shit that they got going on. This is just the lame shit they got going on, y'all. I mean, it's always got to be about race. Everything. You can't just say, something nice. They're doing something nice. But again, they're at the fair reporting, so we got the fair.
Well, this means different things to different people, but we are getting closer to the start of the school year. Some schools starting this week and many others starting after Labor Day.
And today, some kids were getting ready for the first day at a fun event in St. Paul. It's the annual Barbers and Backpacks event. It's a partnership with the Sanaa Foundation, Minnesota's National Black Police Association, and Firefighters United St. Paul. Families come out to get to know their law enforcement officers and get free backpacks, school supplies, and vouchers for haircuts.
Our kids are so in need of having school resources, everything to go along with improving their...
Oh, wow. I didn't expect to see this. I didn't even expect to see this. This is my great-nephew's grandmother. She was the first black officer in St. Paul, I think. She was I think she was chief at one time. But yeah, I've met her several times. Every time we have something for my nephew, my regular nephew, because this is his grandmother too, and my great nephew, every time we have something, I've met her several times. So yeah. Okay. I didn't expect to see this. But yeah, this is, we call him Aqua Boogie now because he learned to swim this summer. But yeah, this is Aqua Boogie and Bryce's. This is their grandmother. I think she was once the chief, but I think she was also the first black officer. So let's let her here talk.
Educational experience, and if you go unprepared, it's not really welcoming to get that accomplished. So we want to make sure they have all the supplies and the tools necessary so they can be successful in school.
And today, 650 backpacks were given out. More than 400 of those were full.
Okay. You know, it's funny. When I was at the reservation, they had done the same thing during the powwow. The powwow, they had the backpacks. They gave out backpacks too. Ooh, now this is okay. This is yeah. This is, 3M is here, the one that made Post-it notes, but this has kind of been going on for a while. Check this out. This is some money.
This morning, 3M has agreed to pay $6 billion to settle earplug lawsuits. The roughly 300,000 lawsuits allege that the manufacturing company supplied faulty combat earplugs to the military, and that resulted in significant injuries like hearing loss. The earplugs were used by the U.S. military in training and combat from 2003 to 2015. They were made by a technology company 3M bought in 2008. In a release, 3M said the agreement is not an admission of liability. It also said the payout will come over several years and encompass $5 billion in cash and $1 billion in stock.
Wow. Wow. You see how they can just sweep that under the rug? So if you were in the military during those years, you might be able to get some bread. Oh, UNC Chapel shooting charged with murder. They took his ass in. They took his ass in. Oh. Yeah, they caught the shooter from yesterday, if anybody cares. If anybody cares, I don't really care that much. I want to hear about this hockey stuff, though. I want to see how they're going to do this. I think they're both the same story. Let's see. I want to hear about this women's hockey league. You know, I love sports. So let's check it out.
Yeah, some new franchise locations being announced, and one of those teams is expected to be located right here in Minnesota. How about that? Bill Keller is live. He's in St. Paul this morning with more on the story. Bill, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, and it is only fitting that the state of hockey should be included in the original 6 teams of this new league. An official announcement expected later today, but here's what we do know. According to the PWHL's newly created social media account on X, of course you remember them as Twitter, well, the league only has 6 accounts that it is following. Each one of those users is an account created for one of their new franchise locations, and on that list is Minnesota. The 5 other teams expected to be in New York, Boston. There'll be 3 franchises in Canada, including Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. Now, Minnesota already has the Whitecaps, who play in the Premier Hockey Federation, but they are expected to merge with this new league, so there could be some crossover there. We'll have to wait to find all the details that will be expected to be announced soon. The Whitecaps, by the way, they've been a terrific hockey team. They have made it to the finals in 3 of the past 5 seasons. They won it all in their first year, 2019. In fact, they are the only team to win both the Isabel Cup in the Premier Hockey Federation.
All right. So, high school girls hockey is very big, and college hockey here is phenomenal. They love college hockey here. So they have that here all the time. But, I'm for anybody that gets jobs and gives up jobs. Yeah, I'm for anybody that if people can live their dreams longer, then to me, I think that's what it should be for. People should kind of support their dreams, and hockey is pretty much king. I don't know what the fuck he is. All-star, stunt dog, wows the crowd. I don't think there's too much wowing. Yeah, I don't think there's too much wowing. All-star stunt dog wows the crowd.
As someone who works with dogs, I can tell.
Okay, let's see. She can tell us. And that's my favorite host for WCCO. Here we go. Tell us about the dogs.
Dogs, I can tell you, training them, it's a lot of work. But this next guest makes it look easy. Welcome the All-Star Dogs.
Yes. Thank you. Honored to be here.
Yes, take it away. So you all are from California. You've got Mookie with you and Rachel joining you as well, right?
Yeah, this is Rachel Sample, and this is her star. This is Mookie. Mookie is only a year and a half old. He is just a pup, and he is a rehome from a ranch from Chicago. And this guy loves doing lots of cool tricks. In fact, in our show, we not only do fun tricks, but we also have dock diving dogs flying out into the water, making a splash at the fair. And Mookie loves showing off. This here is the back weaves. He's a very talented boy. Check him out. Very good job. We also have, there we go. We also have frisbee catching dogs in the show. We even do a fun part in the show where we actually pick a couple kids from the audience to help jump a couple of our rookie dogs. So the kids got to come out, have some fun with us as well. It's a show pretty much for all ages.
Incredible. Where can people find you?
We're right in the Northwoods area of the fairgrounds, right next to Giggles Campfire Grill. And we have 3 shows daily, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4:30. So you all got to come out and see the show because these dogs love the applause and cheers. And all my dogs are actually all rescues from pounds and shelters. So our mission is, of course, to encourage people to do more with their dogs at home.
What do you think is the dog's favorite thing to do? Get the water, you know?
Well, every dog's a little different as far as what they enjoy doing. But yeah, our dogs, obviously, a lot of them love the water. They love to dock dive, and that is a big part of our show. But some of them don't like getting their hair wet, though. Some of them like to do fun tricks, and we, of course, use all positive reinforcement, toys, treats, and, of course, lots of love and affection. I mean, your dog is your pet, and these are our pets. They're pets first, performers second. So they don't even know they're performing. They're just playing and having fun.
How long did it take to train? I mean, it's only a year and a half old. How long did it take to train him, or just pick it up like that?
It takes anywhere from a good 6 months to a year to train the dogs to do all these cool tricks. Mookie here pulling off a really awesome handstand, right? A walking handstand. That's pretty awesome. That's one of Mookie's new signature moves. And Mookie's also well-versed in a lot of different things, including dock diving, tricks, agility, frisbee, you name it. We love doing it with our dogs. Whatever makes them happy and having fun, you know?
How many dogs do you have in your lineup?
Well, I personally have 13 dogs. Rachel, how many you have? Like five dogs now. So,
only 5?
Yes, only 5.
Oh,
only
my
5.
goodness. That's awesome.
They're all part of our family.
Yes.
All right. For those of you that love dogs, I find that interesting because my daughter's dog is a rescue, and the people gave it almost 7-8 months of it. It's about the same age as that one. And they gave it about 6-7 months. It's about a year and a half too. About the same size dog, maybe even the same type, but very smart, very smart. She was walking in Prior Lake, and I had stopped to get some beer. I had just dropped my daughter off, so I walked and get some beer. Her and the dog were walking like we were probably 40 yards away from each other. I had saw a lady walking a dog, and I didn't realize it was my daughter's mother. And so as I got out of my car, the dog saw me, and as soon as he saw me, he was pulling her to come see me. So it was kind of interesting. She's like, he saw you before I did. I was like, oh, okay. So that's why I find that interesting, because that dog is well trained. And I know that, I have cats. Got to see my son has my 2 cats. And I'm going to have to rehome them when he moves. So just love of taking care of things. I mean, that's service to others. It's like my plants. Right now, my indoor plants have lived outside since the beginning of June. And so I'm about to transition, bringing them back in. And, when I bring them back in, sometimes, some of the plants where they can release the water, they get dry. So if I don't feed them, they get dry and dry up. And so it's like, soon as I get home from working out, the first thing I do is water all the plants, because I have some hanging baskets and stuff too. And it's just kind of making a promise to something and then following through. to try to do my best to take care of these things. I have a plant that's 12 years old. My corn stalk is 12 years old. It is older than my daughter. I bought it May before my daughter was born in August. And some puppies kind of like, it was really nice one summer, and some puppies tore the leaves up. So it killed the original plant, but the side plants kept growing. And so now it's a big old thing. But I made a commitment to it because when I bring it into my house, I know it cleans the air for me. That's the good thing about having house plants, is they will clean your air automatically. And it's just having life around you. And, having plants is bringing nature into the house. And it's like all this stuff in here, all of it means something to me. It's like when I harmonize, like earlier, I was working with this crystal when I was meditating. And what I ask is, while I work with this one, I want all of them to turn on. I want all of them to turn on and give me energy. Because, of course, I can't touch each and every one of them, but I can get all of them to vibrate high enough where they all give me a little energy. And that's what altars, and that's what, this altar over here is, with all my singing bowls and my virtues and my Dravidian. I want it all to as I open up my first eye, I want all this stuff to help me. Because all of it has a purpose. And so whatever that purpose is, I want it to work for me. And that's how everything in your house should be for you. No, the only thing anybody else does in this room is use this. That's it. My girl and my daughter, they get on this from time to time. My son too. He'll come over here, and if he ain't did nothing in a while, he'll come over and do a couple miles on it. So this room is for me to cast, and this room is for me to meditate. And everyone should have a place that's just their own space, where you can get your mind quiet and you can see how much of this reality that you can grasp. And however you master the reality that you live, because there is a way to master it. I mean, it don't mean I know how to solve all the riddles or I'm going to win the lottery. What it means is I see the moves this thing does. Because I was saying, just this thing is petty too. Just like in pickleball, it shouldn't even be involved or care, but yet it cares because, again, it wants to bring up emotions. But it's hard to bother something when the something is, and it's not emotionless, but it's able to accept the emotion that's given. Carrie D, thank you for joining.
Got to have vision.
And I think that's the sad thing, is dudes who don't live. Like as I said, one of my longtime friends died of cancer. They called me and told me. I figured when my best friend in high school called me that one of my friends died. And this young man, beautiful young man, really beautiful young man. And it's just, but it made me think of two stories. In my All City of 1979, it's 11 of us maybe in an All City picture. Well, one picture is my friend that just passed. He's in it. He went to Lloyd Norris. Okay. The other dude that's in it, that's passed, he went to Comstock. He got killed back in 88 or 89. So he was only like 27, 28 years old. And like, sometimes you can't make, and I know the kind of cat he was. His dad was a professional trainer, boxer, manager. His dad was a professional manager. His dad, when Leon Spinks was champion, his dad was managing Leon Spinks. And so this guy got in trouble in Tampa, and they found him with a gunshot wound to the back of his head in the car at 27 or 28. And even the people like I had a cousin, third, fourth cousin that got killed this past year. He was only 19. And what's funny is his friend got killed with him the year before. But yet that he couldn't turn his life around enough, or he made so many enemies that someone wanted to fill him full of holes at 19. I heard of a young man in Battle Creek, Michigan, just got shot 30 times, which is overkill. I mean, what could really a 19, 21, 22-year-old do that he deserves to get shot that many times? That's overkill. And yes, it is lack of opportunity. Yeah, some cases. Laziness, the way they raised. Because we are in the midst of the grandmothers that had addiction problems. We are a generation from that, where the parents, wasn't taking care of the children. And so now these are young people themselves. How do you expect them to act? I mean, we've had just a generation sweep of people that were raised by one parent, mostly women. And I don't know if this theory is real or not, and I've said this many times before. It's like, you look at a young man, like all in his family is just women. Then he got a woman school teacher. So all he's ever lived, his whole existence, he is just told what to do by a woman. Now you can see after some point he would regret that. He would regret that all the so-called role models or adults around him is all women, because that can throw people out of balance. That can throw people out of balance. You kind of need a little bit of both. But we have people that don't really get both. It was like I was saying before, if you do watch films and study after World War II about babies that's never been touched and all these orphans and how that affects them, just think about a baby that grows up and he's only held by women with no masculine energy there, no masculine protection. I mean, I can probably pull up a 1,000 beautiful pictures of father men and their daughters. And it's a different kind of look. It's a different kind of look. This is a picture of my grandfather and my son. You see? That's my grandfather and my son. You need that. You need that in your life. From day one. From day one. And this is the one I was looking at. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing to put balance in your life. And this is the picture I was talking about. This is the All City picture. And this is the young man in the middle is the one that got shot in the back of the head. And then the one number 32 is the one that just died. I mean, almost all these guys I knew since I was little boys. I mean, I can look at all of them and tell stories. It's funny, dudes write me because they know I got all the pictures that, the paper pictures, and guys write me that lost theirs, and they always, can you send me a picture, Lorenzo, what's happening?
You got to have vision.
And I know you have vision. Thank you for joining. That's the same thing happened to my cousin's cousin back in 2002. He also got murdered at 19. Yeah. I agree. This is the generation of crack babies having their own children. Absolutely. Like I listen to a dude like King Von, and he's like the murder that you want to write down as he's rapping, but it's like you can tell that's there. You can tell that there's some misfunction in him. That this cat started going to jail and prison as a teenager, tempted and all this. And I mean, we see this too much. Too much. I mean, it's almost like what Richard Pryor said, thank God for penitentiaries. But again, and this is what the nation is fighting about, because they've came and said, yes, we have locked up too many melanated people. But what they're saying is, okay, now we're not being as harsh on them. Look at crime running rampant. But when this crime is running rampant, they don't tell you it's always a government element to force things. So it ain't like it's just these people bum rushing these stores. They ain't got informants out there. They can tap every phone. And you don't know? Come on. You know. So it's always the government help, the government action. Operating these Manchurian candidates that we see. But it was, even in, during the drug thing, it's like the number of people that would let their children go hungry because they sold their food stamps, and just want to give them some bullshit because they done sold their food stamps. And then I would hear the people, talking about how their child was their life, but I looked at their behavior. It's like I remember one of my wife's cousins, she disappeared. And then I found her in the garage. Nothing happened to her. She just didn't have nowhere to sleep. So she slept in the garage near some people she knew. She knew the people that lived in the house, so she slept in their garage. I just happened to go back there and I saw a door open. I was like, because we knew where she had been, and we didn't, but her mom definitely didn't know where she was. But she literally didn't have anywhere to go and just went in her friend's garage, and I happened to find her in there. I was just like, Ashley? And she's laying on a blanket, and she's like, like, why are you in here? She said, I ain't had nowhere else to go. She's like, oh, come on, you can go with me. And so, now, I mean, she's a responsible mother. She didn't fall into the problems, but I know other children that, mother, stone cold crack prostitute. And it's almost like a curse, because her daughter, not only was she a stone cold crack prostitute as well, had a baby by her first cousin. This is how outrageous these people were. And that baby, they put that baby up for adoption. But she was smoking crack, kicking it with her cousin. And I know melanated people that have done the same thing too. My first wife's sister, she did the same thing. She had 3 children with her first cousin. And all of them are pretty bright. I mean, sometimes they mix it up. The children are bright, but all of them are pretty bright. Oh yeah, that's the main ones. They say, my kids are well taken care of, and they're literally feeding their kids out of dumpsters. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Not like having them steal. Children going out there to steal because they're hungry. We had a whole generation of that. Children stealing because they're hungry. Children only getting a good meal when they go to school. They'll get breakfast and they'll get lunch. That's why the Panthers, at one time the Panthers was feeding 3 meals a day. That's not really talked about, but they made dinners too. They would make lunch. They would, especially in the summer times, they would do breakfast and lunch. And then they would even do dinners. You read some of the Panthers books, they tell you if the kids in the area wasn't really eating like that, and they knew, they was making dinners too. So, Young Judah, thank you for joining me.
Got to have vision.
And I know you have to have vision. And it was sad seeing that. It was really sad. And then it's very disappointing when you try to deal with an addict. My ex-wife was an addict. And I mean, we'd get her income tax, wouldn't see her for a couple of days. And she would leave the children. That's how I end up with the children, those kind of behaviors, because that became more important to her. Not taking care of paying bills. I mean, now she's turned her life around, but at one point, she didn't understand when I was trying to point out, it's like, why don't you have, this is why you don't have any clothes. Because you have no value. Your addiction takes the place of you wanting to achieve anything. And, it took her until recently. She's 48, 49 now. Now, the last 5 years, it really took her to get herself together. But, you know, some people have hard lives, and she had a very hard life. All of us who are Gen X prior remember how baby crack destroyed people, how badly crack destroyed people. And I think, you know, in Snowfall, that's what they were trying to show as well, is how it decimated the neighborhoods. I mean, it really did decimate. I mean, across the country. Because remember, crack came from LA, and crack went straight across the country. And it seemed like it kind of took a shimmy and hit New York, hit DC. I mean, it seemed like it hit. I'll say this, and I don't know if people remember this, but Chicago, one thing that the gangs did is crack hit Chicago relatively late because they fought it off long as they could. And then that's really what broke up the branches of the gangs in Chicago, was these young dudes, you know, was like stepping away. And it was because this for a long time, it was a tight control of the gangs. That the heads was like, we not fucking with this. We'll fuck with powder and heroin and weed. We're not fucking with that shit. And so for a long time, they were able to resist it. But then, you know, of course, when the CIA comes in and says, well, we'll get these young boys to do it. And they'd get the young boys who was in the gangs, and the young boys are just making that money so quick that all of a sudden they end up turning their own cliques. They didn't need the old heads, and people got locked up. Remember, they locked a lot of people up too. That's another way of breaking the power of discipline that the gangs once had. And like, even if you look at Black Mafia Family, you look at the amount of heroin the big dealers were doing. I mean, it was almost not comparable. They were making so much more money, and that never went away. Heroin never went away. And as I've said many times before, we know that America could be functional heroin users, because that's what we saw in the boom of Detroit in the 50s, 60s, and somewhat in the 70s. It kind of died in the 80s as far as auto business. But what we saw is people being functional addicts. No, functional users. Not functional addicts, functional users, or what they call the casual users. And crack changed that. Crack was one drug where a lot of people couldn't just be casual users. They had to put everything in. Once they got in, they everything was in. And that was the difference between powder. And there was people, not to get me wrong, there's people that went off on powder. But I'm saying for the most part, you had powder users, just casual users. Crack became an addiction. And one of the most deadly addictions we've ever ran into. And, you know, I've also often, you know, talk about Richard Pryor, Michael Ray Richardson. It's funny, a Winning Time showed a Michael Ray Richardson character playing ball, because Magic said that was the one who put the work on him the most. And Marvin Gaye. You know, they were extreme example of freebase users. And I guess we could add Whitney Houston to that. They weren't crack users. They actually used bass. And the bass was worse than anything. It was really worse than crack because it was more intense. You're getting a more intense, pure amount. It has an ether base, a rum base that they mix. And so that process was more expensive. So that's why UCLA ended up putting the powder in. It was like, wow, what else can we cut this that'll make it? Because again, cocaine prices was starting at $100 for a gram. And that's still today. It's 150, 25. That's still today. That ain't really never changed. Whereas when the new crack market came in, you know, you had 20s, 50s, you know. And as I said before, when you bought dope from Detroit, if you bought an ounce is 28 grams. But if you bought an ounce of crack, you was only going to get 25 grams. I never understood that. If you got powder, you would get all 28 grams. But if you bought crack, you'd only get 25. I never understood how that became agreeable, but that's the way they sold it. You'd always get less grams when you bought it in crack. So now, you know, look where we are now. I mean, you can see the people that, you know, the crystal meth, because that's what would replace crack was crystal meth. Because you had most Europeans getting off of having to deal with certain people to get crack when they could get this meth, and it's cheaper and it keep you high longer. You ain't running back after, you know, motherfucker do a meth and be gone all day. So, you know, be gone all day. So that's, and a cheap way to shoot it, because we saw people, you can shoot crystal meth as well. John Lazaro has a movie about crystal meth. I can't think of what it's called, but it showed the different personalities of the person that smoked it, the person that shot it up in heroin. It was interesting. John Larzano, he was the dude who shot it. So, and then what's interesting is you got a lot of crackheads got clean, got their life together, got a second chance at life. And that's positive. That's positive. But as you know, the damage to some people can already be done. And to these people, the damage to their lives, their physical health, some of them. And I'll tell you what was so sad. And this really affected 70 people, the people that graduated in the 70s that I saw the most. It was like, trying to get this right. I just remember like looking at somebody's yearbook, and this might have been 87, 88, their high school yearbook. So the person they was talking, I was just looking, and it's like, say the yearbook was 10 years old at that time, and just seeing these people 10 years later, like looking at this person that like, wow, that person had a lot of good energy, and then knowing them personally and how in that 10 years from graduating from high school, how destroyed they looked. From say 1977 to 1987, and just look at what they did to themselves in 10 short years. And that was scary to live. That was really scary to live, to see how beat up people were just 10 years after graduating. Because remember, in Michigan, what happened to my generation was the auto industry left most of Michigan. Supplier parts, whereas people had made good money in the 70s working at the car factories, and then the car factories knew in the 50s that they weren't going to get as much. So they had to get rid of the unions and move down south. And so you had this big community. And this is what happened to melanated folks in Michigan. They refused to take $5 an hour jobs to work in these factories. Because most of these factories at one time was paying $14, $15. Now Michigan colluded. The government colluded with these businesses and say, we only got to pay you $5 an hour. And so a lot of Europeans and a lot of brothers said, we're not going to do that shit for $5 an hour. And this is where you get the sharecropping people coming in. Because the sharecropping people in Michigan used to leave. They'd go back to Chicago. Because they'd be based in Chicago, where they would go to various parts per season. They had a part in Michigan season. And so a lot of them started staying, taking these $5 an hour jobs. As I said before, I was the quality lab manager at Johnson Control. It was full, and there wasn't even that many of them in the city at that time. But the majority of the plant population was Hispanics. And I told the story before, when somebody would go, ISIS is coming, these motherfuckers would scramble, be hiding behind shit. One dude almost got killed trying to get in this hot ass oven press, trying to hide, damn near killed himself. But again, it was like brothers and Europeans kind of got together and said, we're not doing that bullshit no more. We know that there's better paying. And, a lot of people start doing their own thing, starting their own businesses, working their own hustles. And a lot of people became successful. And, not just the people that went to college. It made a lot of people say, you know what? I'm going to do something better. I'm going to do something better, and I'm not going to have to work for these people for these low wages. I think, like even on my personal, starting to ref and stuff. I was one of the first refs that really refed all year long. I found a way to from sport to sport to sport and do it as one of my hustles all year round. And back then in Michigan, you get checks. As soon as you go to the gym, they handing you a check. I moved here, they're like, we'll send you a check. But in Michigan, they was either giving you cash or giving you a check. And so I was almost doing it every day. I remember when I was working for Pfizer, I was like, man, I was working nights for Pfizer's. And I would come back late Sunday because we would get done late. We would get done like 7, 8, 3-hour trip back to Michigan. I got to be at work at 11. So they kind of gave me, I was like, look, you know, this is what I do. And it came a point where it's like, I don't even need to work for y'all anymore. I'm like, yeah, I'm killing myself to get back to work all night, to work all day, stay up all day. That's what I had to do. I would come back, been up all day, stay up all night till 7, then have to drive home and then go to sleep after being up damn near 2 days. So after a while, I was like, I ain't got to do this. And it's a great feeling to walk away from a job knowing that you're okay. Because you got to be okay. Let's see. Let's get that up here. Whoops. I graduated in 90 and I saw that too. It was tragic. Yeah, it was very tragic. It's very tragic. Very tragic to see. I know a dude who what did this? I know a guy just passed, and this guy at one point, I didn't know him well because he was so much older, but I knew his sisters and brothers. And it was like this guy was so high in the Nation of Islam that in Kalamazoo, they gave him his own mosque. They gave him his own mosque. And because I remember the mosque used to be a toy store when I was a little boy. I remember going in there getting toys with my dad. But it was a pretty large building. And at one point, this brother had that building and he was the main minister. I mean, this dude knew Farrakhan. He knew Elijah Muhammad. That's how I end up. I didn't meet Elijah Muhammad, but that's how I used to go down there, was through him. I knew his family, and it was like, I started studying Islam my senior year, and I knew his sister. And so I would go down there with them, but he was in with these dudes. I mean, he was really in with these dudes. And to see this dude get strung out was amazing. I mean, to see how, I don't know, how he fell out. I know he must have fallen out because the mosque got closed. I know some of his family was still practicing Islam, but I don't know what happened to him. But I remember his brother just saying how this guy had went from, again, knowing Elijah Muhammad, having his own mosque, to being a fiend. Gave up everything. And I know he just passed. And so please, I'm not speaking bad of you, bro. I'm just saying this is what happened to you. Again, I don't know all the story, how he fell off with Chicago. I don't know. I don't know if they put him out. I can't tell you, but I know the mosque closed down. Because the mosque closed down the mosque was open when I left, when I came back, to see everything. The time, the 10 years I was gone, 7, 8 years I moved out of Michigan. That's when I guess he had his troubles. Hey, Sean, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
Hey, Sean, what is the weather like down there? What is the weather like down there? Trying to think when my girl graduated. Was she 50, about to be 52? So she graduated, it must be in 89. Yeah, she must be graduating in 89 because we're 10 years apart. Because I was born in 61, she was born in 71. Yeah, so I think, I graduated in 79, she graduated in 89. Yeah, so. But it's good getting old, and I mean, it's good and bad. Like, it's hard seeing generations disappear. And I mean, literally, generations disappear, especially family-wise. And I've talked about this many times. I've watched my great-grandparents disappear. I've watched my grandparents disappear, and now I'm looking at my mother's family disappearing. Her siblings. She's the last of her siblings. I think my mother is the oldest person in the family right now. Out of all the original Ampey family, I think my mother is the oldest, I think Wilbur passed. So I'm pretty sure she is the oldest. And that's lonely. I remember just sitting there talking to my grandfather, and I was like, what do you miss the most? He was like, I miss all my friends. You know, I'm sitting there listening to him. I'm like 18, 19, maybe 18. And I'm like, what do you miss? You know, what's different for you? And this is after my great grandmother had died. She died when I was in 5th grade. So this is around 89, 90. You know, I'm back for the summer, or maybe even before I went to college. But he was like, all my friends are dead. Now, his children were still alive, but, you know, his friends, the people that he kicked it with, the people that was with him for 30, 40, 50 years, they're all gone. And he's looking around, it's just him. And that has to be a lonely, lonely, lonely thing at some point. That has to be lonely at some point. Like, I even look at my children and how much older I am. I didn't start having children until I was 27, 28. And hell, I was 50 when my daughter was born. You know, and how, you know, one day she'll see all of us, her brothers. She'll see all of us. You know, slowly. You know, it's our time to go into, you know, the other source. Let's say coming into spring, brother. We're getting a little bit of sun. Up here, it's mild. It's beautiful. We just got off a heat. Like last week, it was 90 almost every day. Like we went swimming Friday, it was 90, and that pool feels so good when it's 90. It feels so good. So it was 90 almost every day last week. This weekend, going into the holiday, it's gonna be 90 again. Today, tomorrow. I think Thursday it's mild. It's in the 80s. It's in the 80s. It was great playing pickleball this morning. It was in the 60s. It was 66. You know, at 66, I'm still wearing the short sleeve shorts at 66. Everybody there, you know, nobody's wearing sweats. Everybody's still pretty casually dressed. And I have to say, you know, the people I play pickleball are so cool. I mean, it's just the pickleball community is just cool people in general, what I see. They get mad because it's like when we call out or in, they get so bad. That's the only thing that they get mad about. I'm like, fuck you, this shit was out. You know, you make a mistake, that's the way it goes. A lot of them get huffy and puffy about that. But other than that, everybody gets along quick, pretty good. You know, people voluntarily shake hands after they're done. They kind of pat paddles, and that's kind of good. You know, that's kind of good. But yeah, it's mild up here. I'm trying to see if I got the fan on. Is that just the air conditioning? Because normally I turn this little fan on even with the air conditioners on. But right now, I don't even think I got this fan on. I think I forgot to turn it on. So, but it's mild, you know. I'm still my plants, you know, I'm bringing my plants in slowly in the coming weeks, start bringing them back in. But we're going to have another, probably after like 2 weeks, I'll bring all the plants in. And so they'll get used to being back in the house and not be exposed to as much sun. And just like they suffered when they first went out, they got adjusted. Now they're like, hey, this real rain shit is cool. All that nasty water you give us. Because when the plants are in the house, I only give them filtered water. Now I just give them out the faucet. But when they're in the house, I give them filtered water. So they get a little better quality of, but their life is resilient. And, you know, you give a plant a little bit of love, it'll go a long way for you. And it's just like I say, with water, if you tell water that you love it, when you drink it, it reacts. Or if you're in a bad mood and you're drinking water, it's going to, you know, what you're putting in yourself is not going to quench you like it should. And that's, you know, that's some basic magic. That's really some basic magic. But it's trying to be harmonious with everything that's around you. And it's like the key is try to make everything vibrate. And that's why this kind of thing is good. You know, this is good because this makes stuff start vibrating. People don't understand. Like when you try to meditate and stuff, you have to vibrate. That's why people say, well, I don't get anything out of it. That's why you've got to, you know, I've got the singing bowls, I've got the bells. You've got to make energy move. You understand? You got to make this energy move. As I said, when I'm sitting here facing the east, which east is this way for me, I turn everything on. That's what I said. I was like, look, right now, let me give it out. It's coming in. Let me give it out. I ask all of you, turn on. I need my protectors protecting. I need the ones that lead to lead, and all the other ones, whatever you can add. And that's where you look at the fool with his pack. That's how you should be moving. You should be moving with your pack, your bag. You should have your spiritual bag. That's why you see him holding the spiritual bag. Oh, Nicole B, thank you for joining. And I know you've got to have
vision.
Oh. 90s. You guys were at 112? Woo! 112. Ooh. Gary, 112. Ooh. Y'all getting it. Now, we was in the 90s, but yeah, we wasn't at 112. We didn't get that because we've only had a couple 100 days. And it's funny, when we go into the pool, the last 100 day, it was like 100 for 2 or 3 days. It was funny because when an 8-foot pool, even though he can turn on, he has a heater for it, but I don't think he's turned the heater on all summer. But it was really weird because when you went into the water, say 5 feet, the water was warm. But if you went all the way down to the 8 feet, the water was cold. But it had warmed up that much of the pool. So when it was 100, it really warmed the pool up. Wow. So you're probably going to have another hot front coming because it's supposed to be, as I said, it's supposed to be, it is going to be here like, yeah, 82 today, 79 tomorrow. Oh, we're gonna it's gonna get in the 50s the next couple days. 57 low, and then 82 Thursday, and then we got 89, 90, 95, 97 into the holiday. So going to the fair this weekend is going to be hot if we go to the fair. The fair is going to, I'm thinking we're going. So it's going to be hot. So y'all getting it. I give my plants filtered water too, and I give them water from my aquarium. Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, before I moved into the house, when I was in the apartment, they was getting the raggedy water. They wasn't getting my drinking water. But I told them, I said, when it gets better, I will treat you better. And so it's better, so I treat them better. But yeah, I give them. And I don't have any fish. Let me tell you, one time when my daughter was born, check this out. We had 2 dogs. We had 3 or 4 cats. I want to say 3 or 4 cats. We had a bird and we had fish. So my son talks my ex into buying a crab for his aquarium. And then he wonders why the fish started disappearing. Like we had fish all this time. The crab went in there and ate all the fish up. And then the crab, I think the cats ate the crab because the crab kept escaping and the cats caught it. So I found a little shell cracked open one day. Because it was looking, it was like, hey, I done ate everything in here and y'all ain't putting anything in here. I'm going to get up out of here to go where it's food. And them cats was like, bring your little crab ass up out of there. So yeah, but we had a bird too. And the bird would, if he flew on your arm and on your finger, he would put his little head down. You could pat his little head, little buddy bird. Yeah. So we had all that going on when my daughter was a baby. And then she was scared of dogs for a while, something happened after we broke up. Something happened with the dog but now she has a dog, and which I'm glad. I'm glad she has a dog. Smart dog, very smart dog, very alert, pays attention, and it will bite the shit out you. So that's what a dog is good for. But good companions. But it's good to having all that. The fish is great. What's cool is you can, like, when you get even fish, you can communicate with them. You understand, you take care of them, you understand them. And you almost, have a telepathic relationship with them. Because you'll look in there and, you'll give them food and you'll see them go up. Yeah. So, and then when you clean it, you got to clean the aquarium out. You got to go through all that. Give them good water and put it all back together. So you have they have a pattern, a rhythm of their lives. And they get used to the rhythm of being with you. And again, they know you. They know you. I mean, they don't know you in a way that, hello, how you doing? But telepathically, they know you because you take care of them. Like even, my girls, these were her cats. But now the female cat is taking a liking to me because I was giving her treats and shit, and I'm kind to them. And so when they know you're kind, like when I sit to drink coffee, she's right there. She wants me to pet her while I drink coffee because I gotta have it. I eat my cereal, and then I sit there and drink a cup of coffee while I start putting my knee straps on and shit. So when they know you're kind, I don't meet many animals that don't just come to me. Because animals is one of the few things that can see what's in your heart. And what time is it? Because I know we're gonna leave. Okay, I got about maybe 40 minutes, so I might be able to go. Plants love fish water too. Okay. Now I put this is great for plants as well. I put sugarite in plants too. Like the sugarite, when I use it up, the filtered kind, most all my plants have sugarite. And it has, if you get, let me see, is this the Russian book? I've got a Russian book on sugarite here, and that's what they put. The Russians would put sugarite in their big crops, and they had positive results. How it would make plants grow. So I give them sugarite too. When I've got one royal piece in here, and I've got tobacco in here too. But I've got one royal piece and one older piece, and I got to take these out in the next day because we got the blue moon coming up. We got the blue moon coming up, and that's like my meditations. That's why it was kind of intense today. I was like, these energies is coming in because the full moon is what, the 30th, 31st. Maybe the full moon is tomorrow night, but I mean it's looking full already, so you can feel the energy. So I got to take this basket out there and some of my mirrors, take some of my mirrors out there. And this is what I've done this year is I put some of my bigger crystals just outside all summer. Like I have what's called a sunstone. And it's going to be a great companion in the wintertime because I'm letting it absorb all this for the summer. So when it comes in and I need a little of that sun energy, boom, I have something that gives it to me. So, yes, my fish swim to the front of the tank to greet me. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They know that they're in a good environment. And the better you treat them, the more love they give back. And that's what was interesting. I remember that one of the guys on Craig Fact said that. He was saying the very same thing. He's like, I can communicate with my fish. And they was all laughing at him and stuff, but I knew exactly what he was saying. I was like, yeah, you can. It's like I noticed like my cats used to do this for me, and they do this for my girl. They'll box her in. Want to be here and want to be there. And if you have animals like that, just notice how they'll box you in. They know when you're sick. Like, it was one time where I really wasn't feeling good, and both cats, I wasn't feeling good. They were both right here. I mean, maybe my asthma was acting up, but they both came. I forget, maybe had bad heartburn, but they both were like right there worried about me. I mean, they literally both just came up and sat right near close to me. And they felt that I needed them. And at that moment I did. I ended up being all right, but I just remember they were concerned enough where, they knew I needed their help. And the beautiful thing about cats is at night, they are, there's a book called The Cats Who Walk Through Walls. And I've said this about my cats. I was meditating one time and I saw one of my cats jump into my third eye, and my cat waved at me and turned into, my cat jumped in to the astro, turned into a person, waved at me, and went in the door. And I'm looking at this. I see my cat turn into a person, wave at me, and then walk into a door. So spiritually, cats is putting work in at night. And that's, they chase a lot of stuff away. Oh. They would chase a lot of stuff away. So that's a good spiritual thing about cats that dogs can't necessarily do. They're not as spiritual. But cats are, but dogs can know sadness. Dogs can know grief. So they do feel that, and they can be a good companion with that. Dogs know anxiety. And that's how, you see these people with these dogs. The dog will hold the anxiety for the person. I don't know if y'all really realize that's how that works. The person gets anxious, but that she has this dog, she can transfer some of this anxious, or he can transfer some of this anxiousness to the dog. And the dog's able to hold it. And then the dog's able to release it. But the dog's able to hold it for that person. So just the mere presence of that dog will hold that person together. It's kind of how it works for people. So, yep. Oh, you said I have betas. Oh, I have a beta that lets you pet him. That is nice. That is really nice. That is really nice. That beta got to be by himself though. Like betas, they fighting fish. I had a few of those through the years. I just don't know where I would put a tank now. I used to have Oscars, and I had one big 50, 60, 100-gallon tank, and I had an Oscar. I mean, that sucker. And I would fill it with, but I put like traps everywhere. I put little things in it everywhere. And so I would fill it up with goldfish, and like I gave where the goldfish wasn't just there to be eaten. No, that big fat lazy fish had to work to get them because they had all kind of little gullies and caves to hide because they seen come out and all of them would like they start trying to hide, but it made him work. It made him not just be lazy and just be in there eating. No, he had to work to get them because they was like, oh, we know to stay away from you, and eventually he would get most of them. So dogs can protect you from everything. Hey, JC, thank you for working. And you've got to have
vision.
Yeah, but they can absorb that too. They can absorb that too. So you can go out into the world and function because the dog can hold the anxiety, depression, or whatever the dog is holding for you. The dog can give you balance. And, there's not many other animals that can give you that kind of balance, especially trying to function in society. So you do see a few cats here and there. I'd rather be with brother Sean. I would rather have a kangaroo companion, let the kangaroo, and I'd put some gloves on him and, be like, people try to give me the business. I'd let the kangaroo do the 1-2 on them. Like, yeah, you getting on my nerves. You know what a kangaroo would be good for? I'd let the kangaroo whoop the children's ass. When I was younger, if I'd have had a kangaroo, I'd be like, when they messed up, I would put the child in the room with the kangaroo and put the gloves on. Like, kangaroo, take care of him. Yeah, the betas are an individual take. The betas are an individual take. Yeah. I have a 55-gallon that has tetras. Okay. Yeah, you had to keep them by themselves. Yeah, you got to keep the betas by themselves. Yeah, that's what I thought. But that was because it was like I was with a group of people that had Oscars. My cousin had Oscars, so I kind of think I got one of her Oscars. But it was funny the way putting the fish everywhere in the traps and letting them get away. It made that big sucker work. I'm like, yeah, you just think you're gonna eat my fish up without doing nothing. You gonna have to work. So maybe when I have more room, like I had a cousin, they had to build a wall, and the wall, like they had two. I guess they weren't pillars, through a walkway, and each side they had fish tanks. So it's pretty neat. It was pretty neat that they had that. And they had built that house, and they had designed that specially for them. So that was pretty neat. Oh, I got a little while longer. I see she's out still working. But it's funny how tan I got today. It's just amazing. I mean, the sun, not really bright, but still, still got tan. As I was saying, looking at my fingers, how tan my fingers are, it's like, wow. And then you'll see me a couple months. I don't know. It might not go away. We got we got kiwis, my brother. Kangaroos are in Australia. Oh, you guys got the little bears. Okay, you don't have the kangaroos. So I would have had a pet kangaroo to beat up my children. Be like, they'd be like, no, we don't want to go in the room with the kangaroo. He beats us up. I'd like, get in there, beat him up, kangaroo. And they'd be like going to school with black eyes and like, what happened? My dad put me in the room with the kangaroo. The kangaroo gave me a black eye. The teachers wouldn't believe that story. You don't have any kangaroos. What are you talking about? Well, how did I get this black eye? We think your father did it. My dad didn't do it. The kangaroo did it. Knocking on your door. Is there a kangaroo beating on your children? No, baby, no. I'm like the one that invented choke yourself. When I was little, I'd be so infuriated. I'd be like, choke yourself, just come choke yourself. That's right. I'd be like having it, we kick them at everything. Beat their ass, kick them at everything. Kick them, just kick them, and because it was like my brother, but he knows if he ever listens, my brother knows. My brother almost got spanked every day. Like he would do shit to risk his life when he was little boys. Like he would literally do something where he deserved the ass whooping every day when he was little. And he'll even tell you that. I got pictures of him. You can just see. My mother probably still owes that nigga some ass whoopings. But he literally would do shit. It was like days would be like, wow, this little nigga didn't get whooped. It wasn't the end of the day. He would do some shit and aggravate him right before bed. So it's like he had a perfect day. He would fuck with him right before bed. And they'd whoop his ass. He'd go to bed with his ass whooped. I was like, damn, dude. Couldn't you just be good this last half hour? It was like, it was just eating him up. He's like, well, I didn't get my ass whooped today. I must didn't have a good day. He knows. My brother knows. My brother knows that's the truth there. He knows that's the truth. But it's like my son, my big ass son, that's whatever, 6'7". He was like that too. He was a badass little boy too, and he only understood like the way I got to him. He was in 7th or 8th grade. I whooped his ass one day. I was like, no more ass whoopings for you. I just slammed him and I put him in a wrestling hold, and he's been okay dad ever since. I was like, little nigga, and he had like I don't know, it was one of them I something MP3 players. I was like, his phone, I smashed it. That MP3 player, I was like, you don't deserve none of this. He had a little tablet, I smashed. I was like, you don't deserve none of this. And I'm whooping your ass. And it was all over. He wouldn't clean his room. I had to physically slam him and then restrain him because he wouldn't clean his room. He'll tell you, he wouldn't clean his room. His room wasn't even this big. His room was half of the size of this room. But the boys had 2 bedrooms downstairs. Wasn't even half the size of this. Just pick the shit off the floor, put your clothes in the drawers. No, he wanted ass whooping instead. You was mischievous. That's how he was. This little dude, like he would get away from his mother by climbing on the roof. And her big ass couldn't get out on the roof. But he would get away from her. He'd climb out the window and climb on the roof. That's how he'd get away from it. She'd try to throw shit at him. I'm like, I'd have got a pellet gun and been shooting his ass up there with him. Get pellets, not BBs, buy pellets. And you started shooting pellets, shoot his little ass off the roof. But he would run from her. I could catch him. Like, yeah, I'm fast as you, buddy. But yeah, my brother was a very, very fun child. He really was too. He was a great person to have a brother. We had so much fun growing up. And it's a big age difference. I left when he was in 7th grade. I left when he was in 7th grade. So 8th grade, I'm gone. And that's a change for everybody. That's a change for him, change for everybody, and people don't understand is like when you have a little success, your family kind of like my cousins and stuff. Like I'm hooping this shit. My cousins making bets. My cousins is betting their little buddies that go. Their cousins go to the rival school and they're betting on how and that reverberates to all the family. I know my grandfather used to go to work and get the newspaper like, hey, your grandson in the paper again. My stepdad too, they had work and motherfuckers coming up showing him my picture. Like, yeah, he's in there motherfucking again. And motherfuckers putting in work. That's why he's in there. So that reverberates to all the family. All the family gets some of that. If you understand how that goes. When you live and locally and, all the family becomes proud of you and that becomes part of their identity as well. You do good, they do good. We just saw that in the Crawford fight. His mama came in there, mama doing good. Crawford admitted he bought his mama a house and his sister a house. Now that's, in a bigger picture, but in a smaller picture, everybody, everybody shines. If you got one person in the family that shines, everybody kind of shines. And y'all see, watch this before in certain in cities. It's it's nothing new. But that's when when you go, people go in and say, well, nobody appreciated me when I was doing my thing. And, nah, people did. People did appreciate you. And that's where people are wrong, as if their life turned a different way, their life is wrong. Like, man, who was the dude on Netflix? Raymond. It's like this Hooper. I was watching this Hooper. And this dude was like all American. This dude probably should make the college he should probably make the pro, because people forget the Basketball Hall of Fame is not the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. Raymond, whatever, from LA, that played at, I didn't even know, California State, Los Angeles. Is that still even a college? Is that still? Because it's Cal Poly at California State, Los Angeles. Never heard of it. But he should probably he made All American. He should still probably be in the Basketball Hall of Fame because of his college career. But this cat, Raymond, what is his name? Anyway, this cat was getting paid to play. A lot of people was getting paid to play in the 70s. As I said before, college sports they've always been given money. I mean, again, go back to Horse Feathers by the Marx Brothers. If you want to see how long sports have been corrupt, look at the movie Horse Feathers by the Marx Brothers. It's about paying off football players to come to a given school. You can see the Three Stooges do probably Three Stooges might have did it in the late 30s, early 40s, maybe even after. I'm not sure. Maybe, but the Marx Brothers movie is a talkie from the 20s or 30s. But it tells you how long they've been paying college players. And this player was making more money in college than the deal he signed. But this guy was his own worst enemy. He was his own worst enemy. Like, if you could look at someone and say, you are your own worst enemy. And he made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. He was in the pro camp. This guy was in pro camp. And I had heard the story before that he had left camp because they paid Doug Collins had $1 million contract. In his contract, this dude, because he had cheated so many agents, because what he was doing was signing with agents, and the agents were, what's my bonus, and getting cars from them. So when it was time to go see his team, he done burned his bridge with all these agents because he owed them a share of money. So he thinks he's smarter than everybody, and he goes signs a contract without an agent, or at least a lawyer. And then the contract is fucked up. 10% of his contract didn't pay him until he was 55. And because they paid another dude who he felt was better than, he walked out of camp. Now, one thing I didn't understand is why he didn't get a lawyer, because technically in the contract it said he had to make the team every year. So technically year 2, if they're not putting him on the team, they shouldn't have had rights to him, if you understood the contract. Because it said year 2 you have to make the team. If you suspend me year 1 and I don't make the team year 2, I should have no obligation. Because he tried to play in the ABA and they stopped him from playing. Like they stopped Dr. J. People forget Dr. J tried to jump in to play with Pistol Pete in Atlanta. And they stopped him. So Raymond, Horse Feathers. Yeah, Horse Feathers. That's what it's called. What's your brother's? Where's your brother's a red bone? My dad used to say them red bones used to be the bad ones. No, my brother, no, my brother's. His dad is more melanated than me. And where is? Let me see. Is there a picture of this mug? My brother's around here somewhere when he was younger. Maybe. I think he was little. Might have a picture of this mug somewhere in here. Not sure. If I have a picture of him, maybe not. I don't have a picture of my brother. Huh. Yeah, I don't have to. Yeah, I don't have a picture of him offhand, I don't think. No, it doesn't look like it. Don't look like I have a picture of him. I was finding a picture of my cousin. Where is my cousin at? Let's look my cousin up. He's probably on Pinterest. Let me look my cousin up. I saw a picture of my cousin. I was like, okay. And I think I was talking about my cousin yesterday. How he had, like they had Duke. Let me find him. I don't know. No, this is not him. Now this should bring him up. Ah, there he is. There he is. There he is. There's my cousin Mark. He is from Saginaw, Michigan. Oh, he has Charles Macon is like one of the family names, and his uncle is around my age or a year older, and he is crazy. Charles Macon. But yeah, this is Mark. This is Mark that when he was at Temple. And they had Duke, and he let Mark shoot him out the game. And that's why we was talking about John Chaney the other night. Yeah, that's why we was talking about John Chaney and how he had Mark in them, and he did not coach him well. He did not coach him well. And Mark was, I think he was the 11th pick, so I think he went into the lottery. But I don't know if Mark got in 6 years. I don't think he did. And then they would do dirty shit like Saginaw would put out if Mark, didn't pay child support and shit. I mean, they would put that kind of shit in the paper when he was coaching at Temple, because Mark ended up being on Chaney's staff before Chaney left. And that's how bogus they would do you. Let me see if this other cat, I can find this other cat. I got a picture of him, but let me see. Oh, I found him before, though. I think this is... No, this is not the way to spell it. It's Sampson. I don't think that's it either. Denver Nuggets. Nugget. Let's see if Ralph comes in. No. Nope. No. Ah, here he is. Yeah, there he is. This is the first pro basketball player I ever met. Ralph Simpson, right here. He's from Detroit Persian. He won the state championship with Spencer Haywood, famous coach. I can't think of his name, but he got caught up in that Michigan State scandal. As I talk about Dr. Charles Tucker. But Ralph played maybe 1 year at Michigan State, and then Ralph went to Denver at the end of his career. So when the leagues merged, he was still with Denver. I don't think he played anywhere else. But this is the first guy I met. Well, other than Kenny McIntosh. But I think I met Ralph before I met Kenny. So you have Ralph Sampson, but this is Ralph Simpson that played with David Thompson. So yeah. Yeah. And it's funny now they're dropping the Kobe shoes. I know Read My Soul. I know he's probably on top of that. They dropped the Kobe's, the all Kobe whites. Oh. If y'all remember him, yeah, Mark could go. We used to watch Mark play in high school. Mark could go. And Mark, we all thought Mark was going to go to Xavier, and he messed around and we ended up going to Temple. But we were pretty sure he was going to go to Xavier, but fooled anybody. But he was Mr. Basketball. He was Mr. Basketball in Michigan. And so I wish him luck wherever he's at. I wish him luck. wish him the best. Yeah, I can't believe I don't have a picture. Oh, I do have a picture of my brother somewhere in here. It's probably hidden deep. Isn't it ridiculous? Like all these pictures should be in a book. Because the books last forever. You know, the pictures fade, but they last forever. And we tend not to do it anymore. We tend not to have picture books. Picture books are almost obsolete, but the beautiful thing is, you know, those pictures, those books can be, you know, I got to find out what they ever did with my great grandmother and great grandfather's picture books. And that's the bad thing about it, is when people die, and then, you know, the spouses, sometimes they keep all the shit just out of spite. Like my great uncle, he had probably thousands of pictures, wouldn't give them back to the family. I mean, she was so petty, she wouldn't even give them back to the family. And probably starved him to death, and nobody was able to help him. Probably starved him to death. And that's how this money changes people. That you know, fucking up spouses and shit. You know, as I said before, my uncle that had had MS, multiple sclerosis. You know, his woman was a doctor, and she abused him as a doctor. Or she was a nurse. Excuse me, she was a nurse. And like, you know, she would hire people to help him out, and the people would report her as not taking care of him. She would fire a person and a new person come in. Yet she took this role. She married this nigga. And then probably starved him to death. Not treating him. Because again, you know, he had the kind of multiple sclerosis that got worse every year. By the time he died, he couldn't feed himself or nothing. But that's how money does people. My cousin on my dad's side tied for 6th in the SEC for touchdown receptions. Jack Johnson, University of Florida. Oh, nice. Very nice. It's funny. I got a cousin that what did he do? What did this cat do? Because he had a big plaque. And it's like out of all the high school rushing, he rushed for like damn near 3,000 yards in high school. So like 2,800 yards. So he's like, at that time, it was like Herschel Walker. I'm thinking who else? It was a couple people that was right there with him. So it was like him and these other people but he was one of the people that got something like 2,800 yards in high school one season, for just a season. But I have to say, you know, I have a cousin that he played at DePaul, but I don't think he was a better basketball player than me. He could shoot better than me, but he wasn't a better scorer by any means. He wasn't as strong as me. He was more of a true small forward 2 guard. But he was like Iverson's age, though. He played against Iverson. Yeah, and this is my uncle's wedding. These are my 2 uncles together. And that's my uncle's wife. But that's my uncle. He got started. This is the day he married this chick. We're all at the wedding.
Super Nat or Natalie?
Oops. Let me see what my daughter wants. I still can't find a picture of my brother. Oh, maybe he's right in here. No. I don't know where he is. Yeah, I don't have any pictures of him offhand. I'm gonna have to download these pictures on the computer. Yeah, no pictures of this mug. I do somewhere buried in here. Well, that's my daughter calling. I know I'm gonna have to get ready because we're gonna try to pick her up by 4:30.
I didn't get that.
I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to you, phone. Damn. Phone always all in my Kool-Aid. Yeah, I don't have a picture of this mug. Somewhere in here it is, though. Well, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. I should be around sometime early afternoon tomorrow. The NFL starts on Thursday, and maybe I'm not going to. And Thursday will be full moon anyway, so I'll be doing something in the evening time. Let me see, it's a full moon. I have to see if it's tomorrow or the 31st. So I'll work that out. Well, let's find out when is the next full moon. Okay. Probably in here. Next. Full moon is, what times it come on? Don't allow. Wednesday night, August 30th at 9:30. So 8:30. So the peak comes on the 30th. So maybe I'll come in, Wednesday night. Maybe I'll come and do a little bit on Wednesday night. And those of you that want to get some vibrations in, Wednesday night, maybe I'll come on for a little while for the full moon because it peaks 9:30 Eastern time. So it'll be 8:30 my time. So I shouldn't. Yeah. So maybe tomorrow night. I'll do a little thing in the afternoon and I'll come down tomorrow night because it looks like the energy is going to peak tomorrow night. And so I'll go through all my bowls and stuff for those who want the vibration. It's on you. It really is. I can't imagine how it is to have to ponder about the reality. Is the reality real every day or is it fake? And you answering questions about that shit instead of just living your life. I mean, we know what it is. At least you should have a hint of what's behind the curtain. Because he comes out just like Toto exposes him. The thing comes out and exposes itself all the time. But the other part is you still got to live. You got to eat. You got to breathe. So if you keep thinking that this reality is not real, well, that's it. It is so much real around you that something's real around you. Now, are we in some kind of simulation? Well, very well so. I mean, simulation is one thing that'll tell you need free will. Because I think that's a trick. I think free will is a trick. I think a lot of people try to rationalize how they think behind that. Not understanding that it's a trick, it's a trap. It's not the baseline. That's what people think. They think free will is the baseline. It's not the baseline. There's a lot of people that don't want to fuck with free will because they see it what it is. Again, it's a spell. It's a type of spell. Telling you that everything is running and it's up to you to make it run. You still got choices. And there's no doubt there's controllers. And we see when the controllers get together and they wage war on the people. We see this. Because these controllers, under the guise of nature, they wage war on the people. They'll flood you out. They'll burn you out. They'll rain you out. Blow you up. So yes, all that is real. And so your mission, I think, is really to raise your awareness up to enough where no matter what the controllers do, your mind is open. Your mind is your own. No matter what they do, he's like, okay, you did that, well, I'm gonna lean this way. You did that, I'm gonna lean this way. And that's what it is. That's why you live above karma. You live above karma even though you make a mistake. That's the problem with karma. Karma says you can't never make a mistake. If you make a mistake, it's gonna come back and slap you. Why would you want that? You done tried hard to change and do your thing, but yet if you may, you'd be like, damn, I cheated my friend out of $20, so I gotta watch out. But if you live above karma, you'd never have to worry. Because it doesn't matter how. So if you make a mistake, it's not as costly. If you make a mistake, it's not as costly. See, karma says you can't make any mistakes. And if you're like me, you're perfectly imperfect. If you're like me. So So I guess that's it. So thank you for coming this afternoon. Thank you for applying and asking questions. I appreciate it. Yeah, next Thursday. Yep, next Thursday. No, I'm sorry. Next Thursday's right, the 7th. However, Nebraska and the Gophers play Thursday. Nebraska and the Gophers play Thursday. Yeah. So I'm sorry, you're right. The 7th, they play next week. But this Thursday is Nebraska and the Gophers, one of the few times that the Big Ten has opened up with conference games, because normally you don't play conference games. So yeah, thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you, Lorenzo. Yep, next Thursday. But so the Gophers probably be on national TV. The Gophers in Nebraska are probably going to be on national TV. So yeah, that's the big game coming up. And that game sold out because we tried to get tickets to it. And we was looking, and it was like some of the upper walls was in there. He's like, yeah, we're not going to sit in there for that. And the Gophers, it's a nice stadium. That's a beautiful stadium too. TCF Bank Stadium. So yeah, it's this Thursday. Yes, it's Nebraska and the Gophers. So that's all I got, y'all. I gotta go. In about an hour, I'm gonna be floating.
What date and time is your event?
Damn, this phone is nosy. What time you doing something? Well, all right, y'all. This has been the Big Eagle Hour. I'm your host, Big Pontiac. Till we meet again, definitely say less. Enjoy your day and time. And look at Brennan. Look, how pretty babies I make. I make pretty babies. Look at the babies. Ooh. Ooh.